Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to talk about what Gimple actually had to say regarding the Walking Dead universe yesterday, and yeah, really exciting stuff. So before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Obviously, episode 4 of the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2 airs tomorrow, so yeah, that's really exciting. I can't wait for that episode. A lot of people got to watch episode 4 yesterday, or at least the first like 15 minutes or so of the episode yesterday. I thought it was going to be the whole episode, but I guess it was just like the first 15 minutes or whatever. And yeah, we get to watch that episode either, I guess, later on tonight, like late tonight, or I guess technically, tomorrow. And I'll probably watch it tomorrow. I'm really excited for this episode specifically because I know this is supposed to be the best one of the season. I think this one's like number 1, and then the finale is like the second best episode. It's what I've been seeing and whatnot. And yeah, Comic-Con yesterday was honestly a lot more exciting than I thought it was going to be. I thought that we weren't going to get any, real confirmation of anything. I thought maybe Gimple would talk about some stuff, but he actually really hinted at a lot of stuff. Actually talked about the fact that they are working on ideas right now. They are working on spin-offs that are going to be, we'll talk about in this video here, but set in different areas of the world. And he sort of talked about, I guess, the idea of doing crossovers on like Dead City and some other things in general with the story here in terms of references to the future of The Walking Dead. So yeah, I want to break down all of those details here because that's what The Walking Dead has really been missing a lot. I think is sort of a direction, and we have more of a direction right now. I think we'll have to wait and see where everything eventually goes. But when you watch Dead City Season 2's trailer, honestly, that was really incredible. I'm honestly so excited for that show. I wasn't really that hyped for the show, I would say, beforehand. I think that, I knew that eventually they would show some stuff where I'd be like, okay, cool. But I was just curious on like the direction overall of The Walking Dead because to me, honestly, I haven't been the most excited for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2, and I don't know what it is about it. We'll have to wait and see after the whole season is over, but there was something going into this season that like I was excited for a lot. Certain moments seemed really cool in the trailer, but like the reaction I had to Dead City season 2's trailer was like really genuinely like, wow, The Walking Dead is back. Like I'm excited for this, right? And I think that, again, I don't know what it is specifically about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon in season 2, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess, after season 2 is over. Maybe a part of it is because in terms of doing crossovers and all that, it's sort of hard to do that with that show because of where it's set. So I wonder if Dead City, because it's set in New York, because of how amazing the trailer looked and all the crossovers that actually can happen on that show. I don't know, I posted my reaction on Twitter, or I guess X, and I got a big response to reacting to the fact that, this feels like this show is going to get The Walking Dead back on track. There's 8 episodes, power is turning back on in New York City, Negan is a leader again, and just where they're going with the story here, it feels like classic Walking Dead. So yeah, it seems like everyone's really excited for this. And I will say overall, what Gimple talked about in terms of, crossovers and all that, I guess let's break all that down. So there's a couple of things here because he talked about it more than once, and so there's a few things about this. So first of all, regarding I guess Daryl Dixon, he did say that there is something in this season of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon that hints at the future of The Walking Dead. Now, I don't remember the exact wording of what he said, but they're talking about like Easter eggs that, reference this or that, or there are going to be little clues or hints at like things like that. And he mentions that there's something that is sort of there. You sort of have to look out for it or whatever, but it's in The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 2. And so I don't remember the exact quote of what he said. It was something like, something relatively imminent or whatever. And again, he talked about it a couple of times, but to me, that's really interesting. So that would mean that there's something here in season 2 that sort of teases, well, that's what he mentioned. He mentioned that it adds to the mythology, I guess, of The Walking Dead, right? And so I'm really curious about that. Like, what would happen here in season 2 that sort of adds to the mythology of, what is it, walkers? Is it the CRM? Is it something else? Is there something here that is laying the groundwork for the eventual end game with Daryl and Rick? Like, that's what I'm really curious about. Like, I know that the way he's saying it is going to be something that's going to be very, you're going to have to really pick up on it. It's probably going to happen in the next couple of episodes here, but I'm really curious about that. Like, I wonder if it's a certain storyline, if it's where a certain character is going. Like, I'm really curious about that because I think that, obviously that is really exciting. Like, you want everything to be connected here a lot more. And so, yeah, that was really cool here. And so he also did say in terms of, doing other spin-offs and whatnot and doing just other shows in general, he said, oh yes, we're constantly in the lab. There's weird things with people that no one's ever seen before. There's things with characters that we love. That right there is really exciting. Actually, Robert Rodriguez, who was the moderator for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, asked Gimple, like, is there another location that The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon could go in after season 3? And he didn't really say anything, but he did say that, like, they were cooking something up or whatever in another area of the world. And so it seems like there's actually spin-off ideas here that are in development. They actually are working on some stuff here. Again, for an idea to be greenlit by AMC to actually, like, be officially announced, we'll have to wait and see on that. I really am expecting that next year in 2025, we're probably going to get some more details regarding this. I think that we will get another spinoff. And so now I'm kind of excited about that. I do think that we are likely going to be getting something like that because, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like they do want to do more story here. And so we'll have to wait and see. You know, I saw that Norman Reedus was talking about Japan, or he was asked about going there anyways. And so that would be really cool for like a season 4 or 5, though I think they're talking about doing season 3 and 4 in Spain. So I think for the next 2 seasons, they'll be there. So maybe season 5 and 6, they'll go somewhere else. We'll see what happens by the time we get to that part of the story, obviously. But it looks like that's going to be really, you know, a big part of that show. And then obviously eventually getting back to America, because we know however that show ends, it's going to end with them getting back to America. And I think what Gimple talked about here, you know, in terms of just getting The Walking Dead really exciting again, I think was really important because, like, I don't really mind that Daryl is in France or, like, you know, going to be going to Spain in season 3. My issue is more that these stories feel very self-contained. And so if there's another spin-off that's going to be announced at some point in the next couple of months, or, like, you know, maybe next year at Comic-Con in 2025. Though I will say, in terms of that, I feel like most of their announcements when it comes to stuff like that is like early in the year. So I'm expecting in the next couple of months, you know, we could get some sort of announcement, especially since Gimple has mentioned that now, right? So I think that makes a lot of sense, and they're working on a lot of ideas right now. And the fact that Gimple is actually saying that shows that he does have a lot of confidence in another show that probably is going to be an actual spinoff, right? Again, I've been talking about this for a while, but like Fear the Walking Dead, it really was like its own thing. It had like its own fan base. Obviously, there was like a crossover between The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead in terms of fans, right? Like obviously people would watch both, but some would only watch Fear or some would only watch The Walking Dead. Another series, you would have original characters there that would be really fun to watch, you know, in a different part of the world. And it could be in Canada, it could be wherever, but I just think that would be absolutely incredible. And I think, again, because Gimple talked about it so much, I think that it is something that is likely going to happen at some point, like really, really soon. I think they are really working on these ideas right now, and they are developing these ideas. Like technically, you could almost say they are in active development, right? So I just think that we'll have to wait and see, I guess, if AMC is ready to announce anything in terms of the spinoffs and all of that. But yeah, they are working on those ideas, so that's really cool. In terms of like future cameos and like references or just like things like that anyways for future seasons of Dead City, he actually said that you never know. And so that's, I mean, obviously he wasn't going to answer that, right? Like any sort of cameo on Dead City, it's going to be a surprise. Like we're going to have to wait to watch the episode to ever see it. Like Gimple, like whatever he says, like you never know or things like that. Like honestly, to me, for the most part, it always means yes, because he'll never ever confirm that. He'll never ever say like yes or no. He'll say I can't confirm or deny this and that. And I'm just like, okay, so this means yes. Like it has to mean that, right? Obviously we don't know. Like we don't know for sure, but just based off the last however many years, it does seem like that overall. And yeah, honestly, this year at Comic-Con, it was really exciting. There's a lot to talk about here. There was actually some mention of Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero that I will talk about in another video here, because I want to see exactly how he referenced them, and I want to see if it was more in like a past tense of like working with them, or like he was, you know, working with them recently sort of thing. So I just want to, yeah, before I do a video on that, I want to see exactly how he referenced that. But yeah, you know, honestly, Comic-Con this year is really amazing. Today is Pally Fest actually, so there could be a lot more details coming out today. I will do videos on that, obviously, if more stuff does come out. As of right now, this is sort of, you know, what we got yesterday. I was going to do all these videos yesterday, but honestly, it got so late by the time I did my trailer breakdown for Dead City Season 2. It was just so late at that point, so I was just like, you know what, I'll save it for the next day, because there's really no point in me doing it all like in one night, because Saturdays I usually don't post a lot of videos, or I'll post just like one or something, because there's usually not a lot to talk about. We're at the end of the week, and it's like going into the next episode, because again, episode 4 is coming out tomorrow, right? There is a lot of stuff though that I do want to talk about regarding Dead City's storyline. There's actually some new images out there, and we did learn that I think Daryl Dixon season 3 is not going to have a subtitle at all. It seems like, you know, David Zabel got a lot of complaints about the fact that season 2 was called The Book of Carol, that it just really made no sense, and so they hinted at the fact that season 3 is probably just going to be called The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon season 3, which again, I really love that. I think that calling it the Book of Carol, like I do understand, you know, you want to call it something because you have Carol now on the show, but I just think that it's one of those things that, you know, I think if Carol was there for season 1, the show would have been called something different, but she wasn't there for season 1, right? And so the show going into it was the Daryl Dixon spinoff, right? I know originally it was the Daryl and Carol spinoff, but she did leave and obviously she would come back. And maybe at that point they should have called it something else, but they went with that title. And I think for season 2, they were trying out, you know, like what if we call it the Book of Carol? And maybe that's going to be what the show is called going forward. But I just think that, yeah, like it's really not working. Like honestly, it's a big complaint from a lot of people. Like a lot of people, I've seen so many comments of people saying like, I'm not watching this show because of that title, which I think is ridiculous. But like, yeah, I've seen that comment out there. But yeah, I'm gonna get to doing some other videos here because there's a lot to talk about with The Walking Dead. So yeah, post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.